Hello, it's Dr. Edward the Healing Vet here with our regular Holistic Pet Health show, and today I want to talk to you about how to support peak wellness. So going beyond just having a normally healthy pet and having an exceptionally well, vital pet that lives a long life, who is happy and just giving your pet the best possible life you can, which is my whole intention with everything that I do, is to help you give your pets the best life that they possibly can have. Because, you know, of course we all want our pets to be happy, to be healthy, to be vital, to maintain mobility and agility right until they're a really ripe old age. And the best way to do that is to do everything you can to keep your pets vital and healthy from the day you get them. Now, this doesn't matter whether you get them as a little puppy or kitten, or whether you get a rescue animal that might already be, you know, middle age to older. Doesn't matter where the animal is in their life journey. When they come into your life, there's a whole lot you can do to support peak well-being for your pets, peak wellness. So every animal is going to have a different potential in terms of how healthy and vital and well they can be. It varies from animal to animal. It varies according to the age. Of course, younger animals are going to have a naturally greater vitality than a very geriatric animal, because as the body ages, it loses vitality naturally. But we want to delay that loss of vitality as much as we can, so that our animals stay younger for longer as they age. So one thing that really affects your animal's potential for wellness and vitality is their genetics. The genetic health. If you want to have the healthiest possible pet, you need to consider what breed you're going to get, or and then within a particular pure breed, if you're into pure breeds, you're going to have to really carefully consider what lines within the breed, what breeder you source your puppies or kittens from, because healthy, vital genetics are one of the most important things when it comes to having a vitally well animal. And I'd like to say hello to everyone who's watching live, and also hello to everyone who's watching on the replay. Please do check in on the chat, because I'd love to hear where you're from and what animals you have in your life. And it really warms my heart to hear where you're all from. So hi Connie from Canada, who's currently a web student too. Awesome. So back to the peak potential wellness. So you might not know this, but the genetic health of nearly all purebred dogs and many purebred breeds of cats is actually really, really awful. Very, very poor. So there's a metric that measures how inbred animals are when it comes to looking at their genetics, which is called the coefficient of inbreeding, or the COI. Now, to have healthy genetics, this should be less than 5%. You don't get purebred dogs of any kind with less than 5%, unfortunately. If you go to the blog post that goes with this, you'll see that. You can click through that with the text that goes with these videos. You'll see that your choices are really limited with purebreeds if you want to have an animal with healthy genetics. The only purebreeds I would consider genetically healthy out of all the purebred dogs number a grand total of 4. The Sloughy, Chihuahua, Spanish Water Dog, Jack Russell Terrier and Tibetan Terrier. That's actually 5, I miscounted. So there's only 5 breeds out of all the purebred dog breeds out there that on average have what I would call is acceptably healthy genetics. So if you are wanting a purebred dog and going to get a puppy, then I would strongly suggest that you find a breeder who knows what a COI is, a coefficient of inbreeding for a start, and you want them to calculate that COI over at least 20 generations, preferably 30 or more if they can. So most breeders only calculate the coefficient of inbreeding back 5 to 10 generations, and it makes it look better than it is. You'll see in the article, if you link through to it too, there's an explanation of that. But when you only calculate back to 5 or 10 generations back, it's going to make the COI less than what it really is if you calculate back further. So you want a COI of less than 10%, really, for healthy genetics. Anything over that is getting iffy. Fragile genetics, you're going to have an animal that's much more likely to have chronic illness or just not be vital and do well and have all sorts of health problems. The average COI for many popular breeds is actually over 40%, which is shocking and really, really bad. This leads to the fragile genetics, I said, and these animals tend to have poor health and die young. So genetics aside, and even if you do have a dog or a cat with poor, fragile genetics, there's a heap you can do to give your animal the best possible chance at peak health and a long, happy and active life. So here's what I recommend for what you really need to do if you want to give your animals the best, most vital, most amazing health possible. First thing is feed a fresh whole foods diet. For dogs, about 75% meat and raw bone, about 25% veggies. If you're feeding puppies on a raw diet, extra important that they get sufficient bone content because they need quite a bit of calcium for growing their bones. And for veggies, you might have to puree them up to get the dogs to eat them, mix them in, otherwise they'll spit them out. You can use leafy greens, squash, zucchini, carrots, peas, beans, tomatoes, capsicum, mushrooms, smaller amounts of pumpkin and sweet potato. I pretty much avoid potato. You can do raw, it's probably a bit better. Home cooked is fine too, but this is one of the most important things that you can do. Even more important thing to do in terms of keeping your pets healthy, vital and happy for a long, long time is avoid processed foods like the slow poison that they are. You will need to just never feed packet food, right? That's the thing. It's really, really bad for your animals. If you do need to have something that stores that you have there for emergencies, get something like a high quality dehydrated food like the Ziwi Peak to have in the cupboard. Giving healthy supplements is a big help. Antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, cannabis extracts can help slow the aging process significantly, boost immune function and help your pet be more healthy and vital. I can't really give you specific recommendations. If you want specific recommendations, you'd have to call me up and organise a consultation. Here's another super important one. Minimise vaccination. Now, disease protection is super important, and I do recommend core vaccinations in most cases with most animals, unless the animal is unwell, in which case I don't. Some breeds, if they've got really fragile genetics, I'd be very cautious about vaccinating. But here's the rub. Always teeter test before any revaccination of any puppy or kitten older than 16 weeks of age. Never give a revaccination without a test to see if it's needed, because if your animal has good antibody levels, then the vaccination is not going to make the antibody protection any stronger. It's just going to be an opportunity that the vaccine might injure your pet rather than do any good. Avoid toxic parasite preventions as much as you can is another thing. You have to balance up the whole risk-benefit. If you live in a paralysis tick area, then the risk associated with the tick prevention is probably going to be less than the risk of your dog dying from tick poison. But for fleas and gutworms and stuff like that, my general rule of thumb is don't use them unless you have a flea infestation or you find worm eggs in the dog's poo. You can send them off to get checked. Make sure your pup or your kitten gets the right amount of healthy exercise. They need to have regular time out for fitness and for mental, emotional stimulation. Don't do too much high impact, high arousal play like ball throwing. This leads to a crazy dog with a lot of body pain and wear and tear on their body if they get addicted to it and have too much of that. Make sure your home is toxin free. There's a lot of things commonly used in homes that are toxic, so removing all artificial fragrances, pesticides. You know, if you do have need to control cockroaches and ants and stuff like that, you can get traps so that you don't actually have to spray poisonous substances around where your animals are going to get them and absorb them and make them unwell. Give your dogs and cats outside time. Animals need to have, just like us, need to have access to raw, unfiltered sunlight and fresh air. Getting them out in nature has really big benefits. Play with your dogs and your cats. Play is one of the healthiest activities you can do with your pets. It's really good for the immune system. And make sure you have a really good pet wellness team. So you have to be proactive with your pet's health, have regular health checkups and regular dental. So animals need to have a full dental x-ray, scale and polish every year. The more proactive you are, the less likely it is that your pets will get seriously ill. And it's a great idea to have a holistic vet on your wellness team. Even if you can't have one local, do phone consults so that you can discuss what's going on with your animals, what your regular vets recommend, and make decisions accordingly. Look after yourself as well as you look after your pets. So the healthier you are physically, mentally and emotionally, the healthier your animals will be. If you are stressed and unwell, that has a negative impact on your animals. So eat well, exercise. If you eat well and exercise, guess what? You're more likely to have your pets eat well and exercise, and deal with any anxieties and traumas that you might have in your life, and have a regular relaxation meditation practice. It will really do your pets a world of good to do all that sort of thing. And another really good thing to do is learn how to find and melt silent pain out of your pet's body with your own two hands. So I've created a profoundly healing bodywork modality for pets called the Whole Energy Body Balance Method.